sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. So welcome, everybody. I'm halfway into a conversation already. So if you're catching this on the recording, appreciate you guys being here. Live is always better. You missed some of the most impressive nuggets of wisdom you're ever going to capture in your life. But since it wasn't recorded, it's almost like it didn't happen. Sorry, guys. Anyway, we're talking about Life Force, and we're talking about what happens with Tony Robbins. One of the things, so if you go to his book, you go to his website, and I'll pull it up here, guys, real quick to kind of just give you a few things. You know, he's got his book here. You can get the copy. You can connect with things, you know, the ecosystem. But here's the thing. So he's got his nutraceuticals, he's got hormone optimization, he's got all of these different things. He's selling supplements. Now, supplements may be great, and they may be super tested and you know, high quality and everything else. We're going to be talking about some of these things. And look, I'm not saying you should get things like this, measure your baseline. He talks about it, you know, testosterone and thyroid and estrogen and progesterone and insulin and cortisol and everything else. I'm going to talk about some of these things as well. And as I talk about them, and as we share different elements of what HGH or what testosterone, what estrogen, or you know, the neurofeedback therapy, or any of these things, what they provide. Obviously, I want to state I'm not a licensed professional. I don't have certifications in those things. I think it's incredibly interesting. I'm going to bring on some professionals that are in a position to be able to talk about that stuff. I'm not in any way advocating that you need to go out and buy anything. Okay. What I am advocating is that there's a very, very good chance that there are things that you can do to optimize your health, your brain health, your physical health. There are things that you can do to improve your baseline, to figure out where you're at and what you can do better. Now, that may be like, I'm going to bring in my buddy Steven that's been doing my hormone replacement stuff for the last couple of years. I feel like he's highly intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. He's great in his field. If you want to talk with him more, that's great. If you don't, that's great. If you've got your own doctor, that's awesome too. I will tell you though, and this holds true in a lot of places, and I think all of us have kind of come to realize, as amazing as doctors are, there are certain things that they're just not trained for in medical school, because certain things are preventative or over the counter, or, you know, there's this, when you look at things like nutrition and hormone optimization, and you look at supplementation, you look at over the counter meds, it's not things that typically, at least now, and in most first world countries, not just here in the United States, but doesn't necessarily fall under the purview of normal doctors. And so they don't pay as much attention to it, right? They don't pay attention to what over the counter drugs do. And something as simple as, you know, Tylenol, acetaminophen, right? The emergency rooms deal with more calls for acetaminophen overdose than poison, because people take too much Tylenol. If you take too much Tylenol for a couple of weeks, as many as like one dose extra over what they say you should. So like if you're dealing with a little bit of pain, you're just taking Tylenol continuously, and you take a little bit more because, you know, eventually it's not taking as much effect. That can cause liver toxicity and put you in the hospital. Just a simple over-the-counter med. And a lot of people don't even, when they talk to their doctors, they don't even mention things like, oh yeah, I take Tylenol. I've mentioned before, a few years back, when I was experiencing a ton of back pain, I tried Oxy to see what it would do. Now, I didn't do it for long. I didn't do much, you know, but I didn't even have a prescription. My point in saying that is that wherever you're at, you talk with some professionals, but recognize there's going to be different professionals for different things. And there's going to be different ways that you can go about improving yourself. So I'm going to bring Melissa on, and we're going to talk about neurofeedback therapy. And if you feel like that's something that can be beneficial for you, then by all means talk to her. I'm going to bring Steven on, and we're going to talk about hormone optimization or replacement therapy. And if you feel like that could be helpful for you, talk to him, talk to somebody else, or don't. I'm simply trying to give you some ideas. You know, it's like business, it's like opportunities, it's partnerships, it's all of this. this stuff can be helpful for many, many people. It's not always right for everybody, right? And that's just something you've got to recognize for yourself. Okay, so over the course of the next few days, we're going to be talking about all sorts of different stuff. It is going to be related to the health side, because that plays into, with motivation, with everything else, right? There's going to be, well, Cindy, yeah, it can be, but there's the regular pharmacies, and then there's things like compound pharmacies, which is what the hormone replacement people typically work with, right? But before, they, like, I'm going to have Stephen on, right? Before he would say, oh, here's what you need, you go out, you do a full blood work panel, like everything that's there, right? Everything. So that you can look at what you need. Because that's the reality. It's why I was doing before, when I was doing live blood analysis, and I could recommend supplements. Everybody needs this and that and the other, right? Like almost every single person I did a live blood analysis for was short on iron, B12, omegas, fatty acids, different things like that. Almost every single person needed digestive enzymes and probiotics. Now, I can say that, but that's an overarching statement that's incredibly stereotypical, saying everyone needs it. And the truth is not everybody does. So you need to take a look at things. But if you take a look at your life and you take control back into your hands, then you're giving yourself power. And through that power, you're able to do a lot of different things. So Scott's saying, I worked with a couple where the husband got cirrhosis of the liver following his doctor's prescribed aspirin regimen. Absolutely. So it's knowing where you're at and what's going on on a cellular level can be incredibly helpful. Things like CBD, THC, things like, they talk about just regular, what the recommended daily dosage is of supplements or of regular vitamins, calories, of everything else. We're all different, guys. So, we bring on professionals to talk with the understanding that you're going to do your own research and you're going to find someone that can help you in that category. Okay. Naturopath can do some amazing things. Yeah. But certain naturopaths may not believe in hormone replacement because it's not a like there's all sorts of different things, right? And then at the same time, understand who it is you're talking to, right? Who is it that's giving me the advice? It's like, that's why I pointed out with Tony, as amazing as the book is, do your own research, look at everything. And what I mean by do your own research, this is where, like, we've had this for the last 2 years, right? With the vaccine. And a lot of people are like, well, I did my research. Well, okay, your research versus someone that's been a doctor for 20 plus years and the clinical studies that they've done and the thousands of people that they've worked with and everything else. So you have these generalities. With that said, we've got a weird feedback from someone. I'm going to just mute everybody here. With that said, you get into things like, vaccines where they were saying a lot of people believe that vaccines would be one of the causes for autism, and on and on and on, right? There's all these different ideas and things that are out there. But everybody's body is different, is the point I'm trying to make with this. My mom was allergic to strawberries. Does anybody have a weird allergy? Right? Some people can't eat shrimp. I love shrimp. But the crazy thing is if I eat shrimp enough, there's the outside chance that I become allergic to it later on down the road, right? Isn't it weird how the human body works? So you know what? No, maybe the vaccines are harmless for almost everybody. But what about that person that's got something where it could affect them? Hormones may not be necessary for everybody, but what about that person where it could do a tremendous amount of benefit, right? And that's simply the point I'm trying to make. Look at your life, evaluate where you're at, and if you feel, as we go through this, that there are things that you need to take a look at, then take a look at them. And I will tell you, every single person can benefit from a little bit more water intake, right? Getting rid of some refined sugars, exercising a little bit, getting active, getting some vitamin D from the best source that we have, the sun. Get outside, right? All sorts of different things that you can do. So yeah, we're going to talk about some cool stuff that I think is incredibly neat. You've got these supplements that Tony has and here's things about hormone optimization, and here's his supplements, and some of these supplements you can find NAD plus and NAD3 is one of the things that Tony's talking about in his book. And here's different ones on Amazon. And this is where things are crazy, because you've got some of these you look at and they're $20 and some of them are $90 for almost the exact same thing. And so which is it? Well, should Tony's be trustworthy? Probably, and they're probably tested, but you need to figure out where you're at first, right? So Kathleen is saying, I'm completely drug free, illegal or legal, no alcohol, etc. Feel great about this. And look, if you found that, that's perfect, right? And that's amazing, right? It's why some people, when you get into diets, and why some people are so gung-ho about, hey, I'm a vegan or I'm vegetarian, and that's the best way and the only way. Well, maybe that's the best way for you, but maybe my body is wired a little bit different, right? Other people, keto is, man, you got to do this, or the carnivore diet, I only eat meat and I only eat it raw. There's some people out there that are proponents of this raw carnivore diet right now. And it's like, guys, I mean, there's extremes and then there's extremes. Like, let's look at reality and let's look at life. That said, there are certain elements of just about any one of these diets that could be beneficial for a group of us. So please, as we go through this stuff over the course of the next week or so, and I'm bringing on some people that I think are going to be very interesting to talk to, figure out what you need above all else. Okay. Pay attention to you. Okay. Same thing goes for your business. Be yourself. Put yourself out there. When you get a chance to look at other offers and look at other opportunities in life, it's about understanding where you're at and pushing the limits of who you are and where you're at in everything. And that's what I want you guys to try and do. So Friday, Melissa's coming on. I'm going to try and confirm with my buddy Stephen for either tomorrow or Thursday. I'll get you guys dates on that ASAP. I'm trying to drag Blake on to do like a Facebook Live in coming days, where we'll just go into the group and do some calls and Q&A and different stuff there. So it's not like I'm walking away from the content or other basic mindset things, but I do want to talk about some of the stuff with the Life Force, and we'll then get into like financial health as well. So I'm going to bring people on talking about credit repair, working through that. We're going to bring on people to talk about life insurance, real estate. Like, I want to kind of broaden the scope of some of the things that we talk about here. And I'm not doing it in a way where I'm not signed up with any of these people. Like, if you go do the neurofeedback with Melissa, that's great. I'm not getting any affiliate offer from it. Okay. I just want to be real clear on that. So if we bring people on, you talk with them, that's fantastic. If not, that's also why I don't do any hard sells on these things. If I had, I would have signed up a long time ago as an affiliate with Amazon to sell the Big Leap and Cash Flow Quadrant and other stuff, right? At this point, thousands of those books have been sold to you guys. I should have done it, but never did. But that leaves me kind of neutral. So that lets me bring on cool people and just talk to them. All right. If there's any of these topics, so again, pick up Life Force, grab it. We're going to talk about it. Melissa, so do a little study on neurofeedback therapy, because that's going to be Friday. And if you can give yourself even just a little bit of, and maybe go back and watch the call I did with her before, give yourself a little bit of a base there so you can answer or ask some other questions. We'll be diving into that. Hormone optimization, replacement therapy, do a little research there so that you've got some viable questions for Stephen when he comes on. So it's not just, what the hell is it, right? Educate yourself a little bit so we can get more out of it. All right. That's what I got for you guys today. Love you much. Appreciate you. We will talk tomorrow. We'll dive a little deeper into some of these topics. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Andrew. Make it a great day, partner.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.